I started in the mortgage business super haphazardly. I don't know that any child grows up and says, oh, I want to be a mortgage loan officer. So I guess that's probably normal. I was working for a man who owned a Century 21 office. I was 18 and I was a receptionist. And he said, hey, I think I want to open a mortgage company. And I was like, cool. A woman in the industry, her name was Wanda Saporito, who was brilliant. He decided to open it with her and I was going to be her processor. So that's how I got into the mortgage industry. Wanda taught me so much. She's still in the industry. Her daughter Rhonda is actually in the industry as well. Oh, but she drove me nuts. I have to be honest with you, because she would do sticky notes. Like, I was her processor. So at that time, I know this is going to sound crazy, but we did not have computers like we have today. So everything was a paper file and they were this thick and you had to send them into HUD and wait 60 days for an answer. Anyways, I was her processor and everything I did wrong, she put a sticky note with a red pen and I was like, oh, I don't want to see any more of these sticky notes. Well, it didn't take long for everybody to realize that I am not a processor. I mean, I did it. I'm so glad that I did it because it taught me everything I needed to know to be a great loan officer. So I became licensed. I got my license and I became a loan officer. And it was good in the typical messy fashion. Some things happened to me in my life during that time that caused me to have to dive into full commission when my second son was 6 weeks old. So I went from salary to full commission. So that was scary, but it was the best thing that happened to me because it forced me to very quickly learn how to hustle and make the best use of every minute that I had. Keeping in mind I had a 2-year-old and 6-week-old baby. So yeah, what I wish I would have known in the mortgage industry and at the very beginning, I can tell you honestly, for a good 15 years, I wish I would have known to look at it like a business, like my business, instead of an employee. And that really didn't become apparent until the owner of the Century 21, Tom Mills, who was the most incredible human being. And I will get into how he affected my life in a later episode. But he passed away unexpectedly at 56. We had 1,200 agents at our 7 offices of Century 21. Everybody left because he had no plans. Obviously, he didn't think he was going to die at 56. His wife took over and things did not go well. So I was almost the last one standing. His daughter, who's my best friend, actually left before me, if that tells you anything. I'm that hopeful, everything's going to work out chick. So I went and opened my own mortgage brokerage because I couldn't find anybody I wanted to work for in 2006, which if you know anything about the real estate industry, 2006 to 2010 is when I owned my own mortgage brokerage, which was a disaster. However, that taught me that this isn't my business. Never mind every LO that worked for me, it was their business. And I wish I would have learned more about how to run a business as opposed to just being a great loan officer. There's guidelines out the wazoo. And one thing I tell people all the time that I love about this industry is I still to this day learn something every day. No two financial situations are exactly the same. That's why I never worry about a computer taking our job. Each situation is unique. Each story brings different feelings because it's home. You know, we're helping them buy a home. But I made some big mistakes. I mean, my first mistake from not knowing a guideline was, this is what a rookie I was. I didn't know that if you're a veteran, you couldn't get a loan with someone other than your spouse. I had no idea. Well, Vern, who was a trucker, came to us and he was one of my realtor's clients and he wanted to buy a house and he wanted to put his girlfriend on the loan to qualify. Well, I took the loan out, both of them there, perfect, great, filled out everything, got all their documentation, sent it to VA. A solid 65 days later, the answer comes back and it's no. And I am mad. Why no? Vern has to be married to his girlfriend. I'm like, that is the most ridiculous, prosperous thing I've ever heard in my life. You cannot make these people get married. Oh yeah, then he's not getting a VA loan. Oh my gosh. How am I going to tell my realtor partner and how am I going to tell Vern that he's got to get married? Because I didn't seem like he really wanted to. Mind you, the file was a disaster anyways because he was a truck driver. So he got all this random kind of pay that it was hard and all that was fine. It just, he had to get married. So I went to my realtor partner and we said, okay, well, we're just going to tell him together. And we sat down. I'm like, Vern, we got good news and good news. Good news is your loan is approvable. The better news is you have to get married. And he was like, what? And I was like, there's this little guideline. I didn't know. In order for you to use your VA eligibility and get this home, you guys have to get married. Fast forward, I think we bought the cake. They got married in our conference room. Tom, who was the man I mentioned before, married them. And it was in the Seminole Beacon, which is this tiny little area newspaper that, mortgage broker gets married, whatever. And yeah, so that was my lesson. So I can promise you, I never, ever, ever again made that mistake. But it was a big one. And what did it teach me? It taught me to just eat the frog, get the big rock on first thing, whatever it is, just attack it right up front. And you always think it's not going to work out in one way or another. As Brian P. Forrester has told me, it always works out. So yeah, that's what I did the first year. Yeah, it was messy. It was very messy, but fabulous. And I'm really grateful for all of the learning experience, the training, the colleagues, the camaraderie, the competitiveness. It's been a great ride so far. A great ride. So for brand new loan officers getting into the business, which excites me more than anything because quite frankly, we're aging out, if I'm being honest. What I would tell you is start with the end in mind. Always have a goal and a plan and just stick to it. I coach loan officers throughout the country. I get to watch them succeed and fail. And the biggest factor is not treating this like a job, like a job. Coming in and working it every day, at least 8 hours a day. It's an equal opportunity, unequal reward business, and it's totally up to you. And get a mentor. I would love to be that mentor. I love mentoring, but get somebody that you look up to and start at the bottom. Learn the ropes, learn the processing, learn the underwriting, learn all that so that you can be the best that you can be. That's the advice I would give to someone new getting into the business. Love you and mean it.